yesterday you commented on our video about wine scams and about old bottles. Nowadays, as far as I can see in the wine industry, it's a huge danger. And like the tip of the iceberg was the Cunyavan, the Rudy case, but I'm sure that still nowadays it's very prominent. How do you manage this? All the bottles that you mentioned you said that you were tasting it from the cellar, from the chateau, so that's the perfect solution. But other than that, how can you manage this market to not get fake bottles and be sure about your wine?
I think you can't. I mean, if you're buying off of auctions, you don't know the provenance. You basically know very little about the wines. But what you can look for are signs on things that shouldn't be as it is. For example, if you're buying a bottle, a 60-something vintage Barolo, and the label looks fresh and clean,
of course,
that raises a flag to me, because no bottle from the 60s, or at least very few, unless they've been just released from the cellar, but that's a different question.
Yeah.
But if these bottles have been laying around in various cellars over the last 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years, it's going to show on the bottle. So I look for those types of signs. I look for, I inspect the capsule. Now the capsule is pretty important. If you see signs that the capsule has wrinkles on it, don't buy it.
Whoa,
wrinkled capsule equals it equals that the capsule might have been removed. I'm not saying it has been removed, but it might have been removed. And then you can put a different cork in.
I see.
And then you can put the capsule back on. But you're never getting the capsule back on in the same way as it was in the first place, because it's always going to be wrinkled somewhere. At least when I've tried to do it, it always wrinkles. So that's pretty important. You should, but I think just as important as looking for what types of bottle can be fake, I think that there are other grave mistakes that you can make in the auction markets that are bigger. For example, I've noticed that a lot of people, when they're buying on these auctions, first of all, they're paying way too much for the bottles, way more than you can get in the market, which is, like, to me, just insane. But that's a different question. But a lot of people are not noticing the colors of the wines. I made up a post on Instagram a while ago, my 10 best tips on how to buy wines on auctions. And I'm discussing that you should look for the color. If you have two bottles, for example, from the same vintage, especially on white wines, and you see that one of them is a lot deeper in color than the other, it most likely means that that wine is oxidized.
Of course.
So don't buy the one which is dark, buy the bright one.
Yeah.
And you should look at the fill levels. That's very important. If the wine is missing a lot of wine inside of the bottle, it means poor storage, or it's a really old wine. But usually it's poor storage with a lot of temperature variation, meaning that the moisture is getting out of the bottle. So I think that is actually more important than looking for fake wines, because they're pretty hard to spot, the fake wines. You can look for the signs that I told you now. The label should correspond to type of vintage, the foil capsule. But it's pretty hard, to be honest, to spot fake wines, especially when buying online. But look, I mean, just I pay more attention to the color of the wines, the fill levels, and that you're actually paying a fair market price for it. Don't overpay on auctions. A lot of people will just be bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding. And now it's only like 20 euros more now. It's like, okay, I can pay 20 euros more, but now you're actually paying or more than double what you can buy it for in the market. And don't do that, guys.
Yeah, great advice. And also about the fake wines, you should also check the vintage, if the winery released wine in that vintage, because I think
that was how Rudy was caught.
Rudy, yeah.
Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full episode, click here. Don't forget to subscribe and consider joining for exclusive content.